Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, my friends. Welcome to our PMP exam brief for today. It gives me enormous pleasure to welcome our friend Mutaz. Mutaz, tell us what just happened.
I just passed my PMP exam.
Woo! Yes. This has been a long time coming. How long have you been working on this?
I have been working on this about years, exactly years from last
Wow.
yeah, with you.
1 year. So Mutaz started this journey with me about a year ago. It was a rather small class, and he's been studying, like studying and studying and working. So today we're going to learn about how he did it. But tell us, Mutaz, how do you feel now that you are a PMP?
I'm very, very happy and I'm so excited.
Me too, to be honest. When I woke up this morning and checked my messages on LinkedIn, well, I checked my email and you'd sent me a LinkedIn which came to my email, and I couldn't tell what the news was, but I said, I'm sure he's done it. I'm sure he's done it. Went to my LinkedIn, boom, and there it was. So I'm really excited for you. I want to commend you for staying the course and staying focused and staying dedicated, and final success is really, really awesome. So let's take a look at your journey, Mutaz. So tell us, why did you want to get certified? What was the big pull for you about certification?
For certification, I am a mathematics teacher and physics teacher. I have long experience and I want to be PMP certified to uh, shift my career from teaching to project management.
Gotcha. Okay.
I read some books about project management professional, and I feel that what I was, that what I should be in.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
enjoy it with it.
So what do you teach? What subjects do you teach?
I teach mathematics and physics.
Ah, oh wow, that's advanced stuff. Okay. So
Yes,
you must have found the formulas very, very straightforward, I'm guessing. Easy.
yes, but when I saw a question about n value, I get afraid because it get you a more information and long text.
Yeah. And value has a lot of information. That's true.
Yes. And
That's
it take more time, more than 1 minute and 12 seconds
that's
to resolve
true.
it.
You're right.
Yes.
It takes a long time to solve those earned value questions. So
Yeah.
tell us, Mutaz, regarding your preparation, how did you find Praizion? How did you find the training?
I some day I search on YouTube and I was sit for the exam twice and I failed.
Wow.
I search on YouTube for good material to get insight in the Pmbok and
Mm, gotcha.
understand very well the Pmbok. And I by the suddenly I found your videos. I
Mm,
feel it more I feel it more easy, more deeper. Okay, I feel enjoyed and I understood easily.
gotcha, gotcha. That's good to know. I've never really asked you how you found us, but I kind of guessed it might be YouTube, but it's good to know that. So
Yeah,
let's talk about when you decided to come for training. You decided to go from just watching the videos on YouTube to actually signing up for training. So you decided after your second attempt, I got to sign up and go for training with this guy, right?
yes, I watched one of your videos lessons learned with
Okay.
some students and was I understand that they were in your class
Mm,
would come, and I said to myself, why I not to be there to be like them, to be
mm,
PMP certified. So I
gotcha.
decided to get in your class.
Gotcha. Okay. And I remember it was a small class, so we had a lot of time to
Yeah,
talk and discuss. And you've been diligently preparing.
Saturday
So
and Wednesday.
say that again.
Saturday and Wednesday class.
Yes, Saturday and Wednesday, exactly. Exactly. So how many hours were you studying? Let's say 2 months or 1 month to the exam. How many hours were you studying?
Before the exam, I study exactly 30 days.
30
After
days.
that, after I pay for and schedule for the exam, I study hard 30 days.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
On 30 days, I work at least for a day 5 to 6 hours a day.
Wow. Five to
Yes.
six hours a day for 30 days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want our friends on YouTube to be aware. We have some of our friends who are watching right now on YouTube. You hear what Mutaz is saying. If you have any questions that you want Mutaz to answer, be sure to put them in the chat. One of our friends, Janae, is here as well. So if there are any questions, Janae, do not hesitate to put them in the chat and Mutaz will answer them. So what did you do a week before the exam? Tell us some of the things that you did as you were studying.
A week before the exam, I resolved or take simulation exams. Not all the exams, but I take the exam, and I realized that if you take the exam, okay, take the exam, and after the exam, you the analysis define what areas are you weak in.
Hmm.
So back to close the gap, as you said, and come back and solve that exam again and again, and go to the next exam. This is
Mhm.
a powerful way to prepare for the exam.
Absolutely. So did you take the Praizion mock exams?
No, I didn't take. I take one exam of Praizion.
What about PMI
This
mock exam? The one from PMI?
I take the PMI more than one, more
Oh,
than
good.
one. Go back and I concentrate on the PMI exam.
Very good. Very good. So what did you score on the first try of the PMI mock exam?
PMI mock exam first try I 60 or 65. I don't remember. The
Okay.
next time I score 78,
Okay.
2 points to pass.
Okay.
After that, I resolve it more and more. I get over 90.
Lovely. And that is what I tell people. So do you think that helped you on the real exam?
Yeah, very more, very much. The language, the same. Okay, more questions like the in the exam. Yani, it's little different in the, but the same idea in the exam.
That is lovely. So the same idea, the same kind of situational question feel and things such as that. Now, did anything jump out at you? A lot of people say it was more difficult or it was less difficult or there was so much change management. What was going through your head when you
My exam was more difficult because I I master change request, I master risk, I master quality, I master procurement, okay, but I master communication. I master the 5 or 6 knowledge areas that crisp. you approved in revision them in CRISP. But in the exam, no more questions about risk, no more questions about risk.
Wow.
All the huge of the exam about execution,
Wow.
situational question, and that I hated. At the end of the exam, I feel that I will not pass the exam.
Wow.
But thank God that I'm passed.
Oh my goodness. That is terrible. So all that you prepared for, you studied, people are saying, oh, risk is this, risk is big. You did all of that and you get into the exam and it's almost like there's nothing from those areas. That is
From this, those area, 4 to 5 from each knowledge area. But the most of the exam I took today, all of them situational questions about executions.
wow.
Okay, and 4 or 3 questions about agile.
Wow. Wow. I can see our friend Mercedes is here. She's taking the exam soon. And I see our friend Janae is here. Janae is one of our students. And Janae is also, she just became a PMP like you. That is amazing news. So I'm going to ask Janae when you get a
Congratulations.
moment. Yeah, Janae, can you come on and talk to us and tell us how you feel being a PMP?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's 2:30 here, and
Woo!
all the way from Barbados in the Caribbean.
Wow.
Yes, I feel so overjoyed. I'm, well, I don't want to say shocked, but
When
on
did
the
you take it? Because I mean this is a lovely surprise. Mutaz surprised me this morning. Now you're surprising me this afternoon. When did you get certified?
well, actually, I took it on the 19th. That is,
What?
yes, on Saturday. But when I joined the call, I I was commuting, so I couldn't really talk.
Oh
So
my
I said,
gosh.
well, I have to send you an email, but I was so tired and into Christmas. I was like,
Oh.
hmm. So
I
I
had
did it.
no idea because you asked me what's the best way to contact you. And then I
Yeah.
thought, okay, Janae's probably taking it on the 30th or the 31st or when, and I couldn't remember. And then, after a while,
Right.
I started wondering, why hasn't she emailed me? So I'm hearing from you today. So you and Mutaz, you got certified about a week between each other. You were last week Saturday, and he is today.
Mm-hmm.
So you folks have made my day. So
Yeah.
do you agree with a lot of what Mutaz is saying about the exam that it's different, even though you've taken the PMI mock, it still has that edge to it?
Yes. What I would say it is different. I mean, for me, it's like all of the areas were so integrated
Mm,
that you really have to spend just some seconds really reading the questions to really understand which part of the whole process you were in, which you kept telling us you have to know where you are to make the best choice. Because for me it was like stakeholder, some risk, communication, um the execution, all of it was so intertwined. It was like, I really had to read those questions and try to select the best answer based on what would you do as the project manager, what could you have done. It was something else. But I found the questions on the LMS,
yeah.
those really prepared me in terms of breaking down the question. Because at first my head, in taking those mock exams, it was like, well, I read this question, but I don't think I really got the gist. Like, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to take from it? So then training, trying to really understand where you are in the process with the questions really helped me when it came to taking the exam.
Mm.
Because
Mhm.
yes.
So you took all of those because Mutaz has been on the journey with me for going to a year. You
Oh,
started this journey with me. When did you start the journey, Janae? You jumped on the
yes, well, I started around like just at the end at the beginning of November, Yes,
yes.
at the beginning of November. So for me, I was like, I don't know how we're gonna get this pull off in couple of weeks, but I'm gonna trust the process and I'm gonna try to do everything. And it got so bad where my mom was on the phone speaking to one of her friends, and she was like, guys, I'm already doing this exam as well because every morning she got up, she would have heard your voice
Oh my goodness, that is hilarious. Oh dear.
during the day and at night.
Oh
All
my
she
gosh.
heard was Phil talking away.
Oh, please
But
apologize to your
anyway,
mom. Very sorry for the inconvenience. Just hearing me for 1 minute is enough. That is just hilarious. So
yes,
it's very interesting that you just came on the wagon. You had the confidence, like Mutaz. I'm guessing you might have seen me on YouTube. Did you? No.
yes, I did. Yes, because I saw you. Yes, I saw a video on YouTube, and fortunately, I was able to get you live. You were live on that day, and I was really honestly impressed about the content, how you answered the questions, and I was like, this is, should I or should I not? And just reading the book on my own, it was like, you know what, it's something missing for me. Feeling, I'm not connecting it. And I just, honestly, it was a Sunday, and I said, you know what, I can't, what is it to lose? So I sent her, I hit yes, submit, and I was so thankful just to
Wow.
following through. That is the true feel. I was so thankful because it really made a difference in these last couple of weeks. Like that journey, I is
Mm,
something that I would never.
wow. I am so glad you came on board, and I'm glad you're here today. And we got a
Yeah,
question. I'm going to ask Mutaz this question, then I'm going to throw it to you. So Mutaz, if you look in the chat, we have a question from Mercedes. It says, "How do you guys deal with mental fatigue and probably anxiety at the midpoint and 3/4 of the timeline?" So Mutaz, how did you cope with mental fatigue? I know that you're a teacher, you train physics and maths, but how did you cope with any mental fatigue?
Actually, at the beginning of the exam, I have a little afraid and worried, but I
Oh,
said that it's like just like exam that I solved it in the home training.
so you were able to just calm your mind down and focus?
Yes, I just come my focus, okay, and the what make me a little nervous the size of the text. It was very small to see it or to read it to us. In the exam here, I was read very fast, but
Mm,
in the real exam, I want I want to much concentrate on the text,
okay.
especially on the questions where that trick word like may or new project manager,
Did
something
you
like
use
this.
the highlighter or did you use the
Yeah,
highlighter
yeah.
tool?
I use highlighter and strike.
Mm.
It helped me very much.
That's good. Let's
Yeah.
ask Janae the same question. Janae, how did you deal with mental fatigue and anxiety?
okay. Well, I had a lot of those, but what I did when I found that, I was getting overwhelmed, I took a break. I just, either went outside and just calm my mind because I'm not really a TV person, but I would focus on just, going outside, getting a bit of fresh air.
Good. Yeah.
And then I would talk to myself and say, well, Genee, as Phil would say, it is this is like a once in a lifetime. If I do it once, if I press through and I really pass, I wouldn't have to go through this again so rapidly. So I would, refocus, calm myself, take a 2 hour break or a three sometimes, and then I would always start back again with a YouTube video from you just to get myself back into it. And then I would go from there. What I would have always tried to do, even though I felt I was like had so much to cover, I would always try to finish. Like if I was doing some like stakeholder management, I would always try to finish the process that I was in. So if I was in depending on which process group, I would always try to finish that one so that the next time I come back, then I would be able to start afresh on the other one that I had to do.
Gotcha. That's really helpful. So don't try to take on too much, and
No.
you just gotta know that you can do it. So and I hear you on you're not a big TV person because there are other ways of calming one's mind, like taking walks and doing other fun things.
Yes.
So did you take your exam at home, Janae, or in a test center?
No, I took my exam in the test center.
Okay.
Yes, because I was already familiar with the proctored approach. And I said, well, if there's a test center here, I would, give it a try for my first attempt. So I went to the test center, and because I had one or two of some other persons I had known, they did it proctored and they experienced some connectivity issues or some misunderstandings. So I said, well, I would take it via the center.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I
Okay.
found for me the center, our center is pretty small. So even though I was scheduled to take it at 9, I didn't take it start until 1 because of the space. But I guess it was more at them than my fault. So
Gotcha. All right. So Janae, don't go away because this has been a long time coming. We're going into some more details regarding your exam, but I want to wrap up my discussion with Mutaz.
Sure.
So Mutaz, you're back on, although sideways at the moment. How can we straighten your camera to this side to be? There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
Because that's how you feel when you're taking a PMP exam. You feel like you're like this. This is normal. Okay, so Mutaz, I want you to tell us. Okay. No problem. I want you to tell us about your exam. We're gonna talk about how you navigated the exam. So you took the questions from 1 to 89, or did you jump around?
No, I took the question from yes to 90, 91 or 92, then give a break, take a break.
Okay. Did you take the full 10-minute break?
Yes, I took the full time and 2 minutes more.
Wow. And the proctor wasn't mad, huh?
No, I never seen him or chat me or say anything.
Wow, that is very unusual. Okay, so how many questions were you answering in an hour? Every hour, how many?
In the first hour, I find myself resolve 40 questions, and I prepared or plan to at least answer 50 questions per hour.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. After that, I read more faster to reduce the time.
Gotcha. Okay. So you get to question 90 and you've spent about 2 hours, is it? By question 90, yes. How many hours?
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
would you say that the exam was the same all through, or was it harder for the first part? What do you think?
No, I expect the exam harder from the start, but it was not. My exam come harder at the end. The second, yeah, after took the break, I have many questions of situational on the execution.
Wow.
And long text.
Oh, wow. I just want to speak to our friends on YouTube. The same way Mutaz found me on YouTube, decided to join the course and came for the ride, the same way you folks can absolutely do it as well. And Mutaz joined my class last year and he has been studying consistently. Now, he had 2 mishaps on the exam before he came on our system, and he decided he was going to like really focus, concentrate, and spend time understanding. So Mutaz, you read the Pmbok guide, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I read the Pmbok guide 3 times.
Wow.
I read it the first time and I feel like I'm not on the board. But once I watched video for you and you said, if you want really to pass the exam, you really want to be the professor of this book.
Yes. Yes.
If you're not explain to yourself, then you are not reading it. So
Very
I decided to understand each line and the behind text. Okay, even I record my explanation.
Wow.
To not forget it about more time.
That is very good. So I mean, you're a teacher, so you know how to teach and how you learn. So I'm guessing you employed some of those things. But why don't you walk us through how you studied? Any ideas, general ideas that people can take back and use?
Yeah. Now in my if you allow me to take the back camera.
Yes, please show us.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is how I read
oh
and
my
study.
goodness.
I immerse myself in PMP and Pmbok.
Oh my goodness.
All
My
of
people
that.
on YouTube, are you looking at that view? This is something else. Everything on that wall is from Pmbok.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Those are the 49 processes.
All of them. These are plans.
Oh my God. Wow. Page 25.
Yeah.
Show us that again, Mutaz. I want to see that again. Show us that again. My goodness.
Okay.
Because seeing is believing. I mean, people need to see how far you went to understand the value in your process. And you have a whiteboard there. I see that whiteboard. So you were using a whiteboard. You were using, this is like a
small
vision.
whiteboard that I made it from small whiteboard. I put it on the wall.
Wow.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would do the page 25 brain dump?
Yeah, every day.
Wow.
Every day by the inputs, tools and techniques and outputs.
Wow. So what are the other papers on the wall there?
Those papers I took, this is steps of the page 183 closing.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah.
Administration closure and contractual closure.
Okay.
Is formula of
Earned value. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earned value. Okay.
Procurement management plan. This is a benefit management plan and business case.
Wow. Wow. You need to take some photos of this, Mutaz.
You love this, and this is the main line.
Oh, the main line. Yeah. Well done. Oh my goodness. You are really a student of our process. This is awesome. And then you have
Yeah.
each process there. And I see
Yeah.
the key definition for every
Yes.
process.
Key definitions and tools, inputs and tools and techniques and outputs.
Wow.
And
Pretty awesome.
I put them on page 25, initiation. And those
Oh,
are
wow. Okay.
planning,
Ah,
execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing.
wow. I have never seen it done like this. This is very remarkable. So is this your office where you teach as a professor, or is this like your study at home?
No, this is my home, my room in home.
Wow. Oh my goodness. You really went very far with this.
It's a very, very powerful study like this. I know that which process there are output change request and which process output if update, something like this.
Yeah, my goodness, this is so remarkable. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I'm sure our friends on YouTube will be inspired and have some ideas. We have our friend on YouTube, Lucky Happy, says, congrats to PMP Heroes. What about agile questions is one of the things that came up. Did you study agile, Mutaz?
Actually, I study Agile from your video only.
Okay, with Roy, the ones that Roy did?
Yes, with Roy.
Yeah, very good. So, I mean, was agile big on your exam or not really?
No, I count 3 questions about Agile.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, those must have been very easy questions for you to handle.
Yeah, very easy.
Yeah. Lucky Happy says
basic
your
about
wall.
Agile.
Huh? What did you say?
Basic question about Agile.
Oh, basic stuff. Yeah. We have one of our friends who said your wall is like an affinity diagram. You know,
yes, that's right.
It is like an affinity diagram. That's very correct.
Yeah.
Lucky Happy. Folu says, nice one, Mutaz. And Fabian on YouTube, Fabian, good to see you, says, congrats. Thank you for sharing your study technique.
Thank you.
Harry Kistner says, amazing. Yes, thank you very much for your comments. It's very remarkable. I must tell you, I've never seen a study place set up. It takes a lot of effort for you to cut out each one, highlight each one. My goodness, please take some photos. And I would love to share those photos with our friends on YouTube and in the group, you know, yeah. And we need to get you on the Facebook group as well, because now that you're PMP certified, you need to be with like minds, you know, other people who have been through the system just like you have.
Yeah.
It's truly remarkable. So now that I've seen your study system, I think you've already answered the question about the show. So the question is, did you do a brain dump? How did you study inputs? Now I can see how you studied. But when you got into the exam, when you did your exam at home, did you need to do a page 25 dump, or what did you do?
No, I didn't do the page 25 dump because it take from my time of the exam. Just the very important thing, I count about 4 or 5 questions about it, and I afraid to mistake on it. It's power and interest grid.
Power interest grid. Yeah.
Power interest grid. I make a dump for it.
Okay. Very good. You've shared quite a number of things just by showing us how you study, the key definitions, the key benefits, the inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs. Is there anything else that you would like to share with students who are trying to get certified? Because I know you've heard a lot of the lessons learned that other people have shared. Is there anything that you feel maybe hasn't been said that is maybe a bit unique that you found that you would like to share with our viewers?
Yes, I want to say that for everyone studying to have the exam, if you apply the Pmbok tools and techniques on your studying, you will make shortcut and you will it will be very powerful.
Apply the tools and techniques
For your exam, like affinity diagram as yes, that you know if you iteration, if you apply the iteration.
We lost you for a second there, Mutaz. I think it might be an internet connection thing. Are you back? I think we lost you, Mutaz. Maybe it's a bad connection.
Apply iteration on reading you.
Oh, now you're back. Let me put some notes here so that I make sure I got what you said. So you said studying iterations, huh? And what else did you say, Mutaz?
Okay.
We lost you. So Mutaz, you said studying iterations.
Yeah.
And what else? What is the other tip, Mutaz?
Apply tools and techniques of the Pmbok to your study.
Oh, I see. Techniques, okay, of the Pmbok guide to your studying. Exactly. Things like the affinity diagram you said. I would say, of course, brainstorming is another one, because when you get into studying and you hit a brick wall, you got to apply some brainstorming. How can I overcome these obstacles in my studying? And then one of our students last week, Robin, she said, take the PMP exam like a project. I think that is in line with what you're saying. Awesome.
Yes, I totally agree with him.
Absolutely. Take the PMP exam like a project. Well, Mutaz, look, I'm so excited that my typical questions I asked, I've forgotten all of my questions because I'm really excited for your success.
I have some call income. Sorry for that.
Oh, no problem. Incoming call. Okay, no problem. But honestly, it's like a full circle, like from last year, December, and now this is it. You're now PMP boss.
Yes, I want to comment on the long time that I be in this journey, a year. It's not about difficulty in reading, but it's about financial aids to pay for the PMP exam and schedule. But the ready and studying for the exam is took me 30 days.
Gotcha. It makes sense. But I know that over the time, you never stopped being engaged. That is one thing I know about you. You were on the course, we did the Wednesday, Saturday, but you kept in touch with me. You kept sending the emails. You were on YouTube. When I'm on YouTube, I see you on YouTube sometimes, you know, commenting about the questions. And then towards the last 2 months, you got in touch via LinkedIn again. And I was really happy. I'm like, I know he's going to do it. You know, I'm not bothered. So when I got the email this morning, I was so excited. So thank you for making me proud and well done.
I love the Pmbok very much, and I feel enjoyed when I read it.
Lovely.
Because I understand it.
There you go. There you go. Lovely. And are you going to teach this? Because you should.
I will.
Lovely stuff. So Mutaz, for your sharing with us, as usual, our learning administrator will reach out to you next week with a PDU effort for mentoring and coaching us today. Thank you very much. You're also going to get the Life After the PMP Exam MP3. That's the last thing you need to listen to. After that, you don't need to listen to Phil anymore. That's the last one. So thank you very much. And
thank you, Phil. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your videos. Thank you for everything. You show me the real road to take the real track and get me on the track at the right time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mutaz. I appreciate it. You've made me very happy today, to be honest, because I wasn't expecting it. So I'm just on cloud nine, very excited. And let's be in touch, because as you continue to navigate the project management world, and you change, your focus and maybe start working for some of these big multi-billion companies, I want to help you navigate that terrain as well. So let me know if you need any help via LinkedIn, okay?
Okay.
All right. All the very best. Okay. Thank you, Mutaz.
I will be in touch with you.
Awesome. Please do. Please be in touch.
Okay.
All right. Best wishes. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we're going to ask our friend Janae to once again unmute. We're going to talk to you now. It's your turn, Janae.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh my goodness. Look, I had no idea you were going to come on today and share this news, because more than anything else, I was wondering, okay, she's meant to send me an email. Where's the email? What's going on? And I never got the email.
Yes, I know.
So you kind of left me in suspended animation. I thought maybe it's Christmas, the Christmas celebration. And then to make matters worse, when I joined today, pretty much everyone is either studying or taking the exam from our class that's meant to be almost 20 people. So I'm like, where is everyone? I'm like, maybe they didn't get the meeting notice, Then I sent the meeting notice out twice, and I'm like, where are they? So I guess a lot of people are taking the test. But honestly, Janae, let me go ahead and start the recording for your section right now. Our friends on YouTube are watching, so let's go ahead and record this. So welcome again, those of you who are watching the recorded version. We have one of our students here, well, former student, who is now a PMP guru, Janae. Janae, I'm really excited to have you here. I did not know you had taken the exam. So tell us when you took the exam again.
Yes, I took the exam on the 19th of December, and I took it in the afternoon.
Lovely stuff. And then you came on the lesson last week, but you didn't tell me, oh, I passed the exam. You didn't say anything like that.
No, because I was I was honestly still trying to process the achievement, and during that time I was in commute, so I couldn't type in, because I was like, I don't know how to really make this announcement.
Oh, I'm telling you, if our friends had known, it always helps a whole lot. It gives people, it boosts their morale to hear that one of their colleagues has been able to crack the code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really does. And you know that because you heard from a number of lessons learned friends who came on to share lessons learned. So Janae, it gives me great pleasure to be talking about your exam success. So tell us, why did you want to do this in the first place, and what industry are you in?
Okay, I am in the banking industry, and in the bank where I work, I do project coordinator activities. So I'm very intimate with the project, hands-on with the project, and actually my department has selected me to do the course. And at first I was like, okay, I'll do it, because they had invested and shown interest in my career development. So I went on the journey. Yes, initially we had training, but that training was like giving us an introduction to project management, where my facilitator, yes, we went through the Pmbok. Unfortunately, at that time, I didn't actually have the guide. So, we were on the sessions, getting all of this, hearing about a lot of input tools and techniques. And, I was like, this is a lot.
So that's hard without the Pmbok guide to at least reference.
Yes. So it was hard. When I did get feel my way, got the Pmbok guide. I started to read it. I read it, but still it wasn't coming together for me. I didn't get the true essence of, you know, the material. I still had a lot of gaps.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So that is when, I started to watch some videos on YouTube,
Okay.
and I came across your videos. And what I would say to you that is quite interesting to me is that honestly, your voice was one of the voices that when you spoke clearly. I could understand because there is a lot of material out there, yes. But in terms as I found when you're dealing with virtual learning, I
Mm,
have the voice and the material is very important. How you and your team was able to package the material really brought it to life for me in a way that I really related to. And that is when I decided, I really need to bridge the gaps. And it
mm,
wasn't about, as you said, memorizing.
yeah.
I really had to understand project management, all that was in the Pmbok guide. And I found that, this program did wonders for me in pulling it all together.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Janae. I'm really chuffed to hear that. And you came on, you started going through day one, day two, day three, and you had three trainers pretty much. There's
Yeah.
Roy, there's Emily, there's me, and I guess the variety just made it more content rich for you. And you went through the agile as well, which Roy did, correct?
Yes.
Lovely. We got a question from our friend on YouTube. And this question is from Folu, and it's, how did you manage the long and wordy questions on the exam?
Okay. So what I did, I used the highlighter. So I did I read the question once,
Mhm.
scanned through the questions, and then I took my highlighter and highlighted the main points in the question. And that helped me to narrow down, cancel out the two answers I know for sure that wasn't correct. And then the two that were very close, I always look back at the key points that I highlighted in
Mm,
the question, and then selected the best answer for the question. So that's how I did it. I used the highlighter, and I just
mm.
went through, eliminated the ones that were definitely not related, and then you know went through my mind and said, well, this is in this process, so it cannot be X and Y. It has to be Z.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me be the student. You're my coach. I'm going to be the student. So walk me through if what I'm saying is right. So if you came across a question, let's say like I put this question on the screen and I'm reading it, you actually did use the highlighter tool that the exam made available to you. So
Yeah.
what are the areas you would highlight again? The areas
Oh,
that are important?
okay. So the first one is that I would highlight is you are the project coordinator,
Okay, gotcha.
right? And then I would say, well, work along with the PMO, right? So the PMO, the
Ah,
project coordinator, the PMO,
gotcha,
and
gotcha.
then right, and then the other one will be to formalize, project
Yeah.
authorization,
Ah,
right?
okay.
And then I will go on to the next line. You're establishing internal agreements
Okay,
to ensure, well, right, proper delivery under the contract.
gotcha. So my friends on YouTube, are you watching? Because when you get into the exam, you are going to use some of these techniques to highlight the most important things, like Janae's saying, and then you begin trying to clue, okay, what am I doing? Where am I? And then when you understand that you're probably in developed project charter, you're able to say, based on the fact that I am in developed project charter, I am not coming out with a risk and issue log. You
No,
cancel that.
yeah,
I am not coming out with agreements or contracts. That is an input. And I am
no,
not coming out with schedule plans.
exactly. So yes, so that it would be C. So that was my approach from always trying to get, from your videos and your coaching, where I
Mm,
where am I in the process?
where am I? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where am I in the process? You really did a great job in kind of like powering up warp speed. The other amazing thing, Janae, is I didn't really
Mhm.
get a lot of, I got some communication. You were very honest when you were taking the mock exams and how you were going through them and you were updating me. And I saw you really working and stuff, and I was happy. But
Mhm.
I didn't get a whole lot of emails from you about, you know, you being behind and trying to catch up. So tell us, how many hours a day were you putting in from that day you joined us in November until you took the exam last week?
Okay, so for me coming in, yes, I know it was a 40-day program. And originally, I had scheduled, if I wanted to do it for the center, the last day for the center was on the 19th. So I was like, okay, well, it's 19th of December coming in November. I have a lot to do to cover the whole program. How am I going to get this done?
Mhm.
So what I used to do, very early in the morning, I used to get up and I used to study around 3 hours because I'm a morning person. So
Mm,
3 hours on mornings, I would always watch the videos, the videos on the LMS. Then I would read the Pmbok guide,
mm,
and then I would attempt to answer the questions, and then any gaps that I had, I will go back to the LMS and also to the Pmbok. And what I must add to, when I'm commuting to work or anywhere I'm going, I would have the audio. So
ah,
yes, the audio was my friend. Wherever I'm going, I had the audio and I'm just reasoning it out because I didn't have a lot of time. So I needed to get the material covered. So if I couldn't get on the LMS, it was the reading my Pembot guide if I'm in a line waiting or listening to the audio film.
mm. That is
And
very
then,
good.
yes, and then when I returned home from work, I would try to get some rest and then get up and do another 2 hours or so.
Wow. This is very good feedback. I saw a chat come into Zoom. So Mercedes says, assess the events happening, including verb tenses and sequence. What ITTOs and PM responses are related to actions and try to choose the best course of action. Very good, Mercedes. That is a good piece of advice. So Janae, I mean, this is warp speed. So you were doing unfailingly 3 hours a day. Then you were also coming on some of the Wednesdays and Saturdays,
And
correct?
Saturdays, yes.
Plus the auxiliary power reviews and the other things we had, the
Yes.
Formula Mania. Did those
Yes.
all help?
Yes, they did because I actually felt, as I say, I was behind in terms of the way how the program is structured.
Mhm.
Just sitting down reading the paid not guide is not, it's something different now to coming into the classes where you have to connect all the different pieces and bring it cohesively together.
True.
So those sessions, those formula manias and the power reviews, I was all learning. It was like, okay, especially though that one with the, yeah, when we were doing the CPI and the cost.
Yes.
Yes, I learned so much in
Oh, wow.
those, even the network diagrams, I would be there drawing and I would just try to be understanding it. So then
Mhm.
when we left the call and I did it again, it was like, wow, I didn't have a lot of gaps.
Good.
to close because
Mhm.
I just took all of your little tips, especially when you said earned value is king. That stuck in my head. So all of the formulas began, with begins with EV, and then I just went down the road from there. So I used everything that was available to me to try to make that the 19th of December achievable.
Wow. Wow.
So so that is for me. The only thing that I'm sorry about is that I didn't find you earlier because that is true that I would, it wouldn't be so, a bit more fast paced for me. I could really soak it in. But as I said, you encouraged us every day. It is achievable. Don't mind the setbacks, and that was on the forefront of my mind every day. When I had a
Exactly.
bad day, I would hear your voice. It
Aw.
is doable. It is achievable. And I would dust off and use everything I had
Wow.
to just focus on that day,
I am
getting to that
so
day.
I'm so excited. You make my day, and I wish our friends were here, but they'll probably watch it. We got a question
Yeah.
from one of our friends on YouTube that I want us to take, and that question is from Jessel. Giselle, thank you for the question. And the question is, I have confusion about cost estimating versus determined budget. I thought management reserve is only on determined budget. Apparently, for Pmbok, cost estimates include management reserve. I'm wondering what makes you say that, because if you read the Pmbok guide and you take a look at that page where we have determined budget and the cost baseline. Why don't we go there, Giselle? I hope you can follow along. Please confirm if you're following along. I can make sure that we've addressed it. If you go to page 255, you can see that we have the activity cost estimates, and those have contingency reserve. Work package cost estimates, those have contingency reserve. Then we have control accounts, and the control accounts make the cost baseline. This is on page 255. And ultimately, you have the management reserve that is depicted as on top of the cost baseline. It's not part of it. So I'm not sure where you got that information from, because you said apparently the Pembok guide cost estimate includes management reserves. No, you mean contingency reserves. Contingency reserves are put on top of your activity cost estimates. So I'm not sure where you got that from. Do you want to give me some more details? Chat them in, because that is not correct. Management reserves are not part of your estimates. Management reserves are for unknowns, right? So you do a reserve analysis, all right? Maybe you're mistaking this with reserve analysis. You will do a reserve analysis, but that does not mean management reserve. Okay. Yeah. So if you go to the cost estimate process, why don't you tell us the page that you're looking at, and then we'll address that. Okay. So Janae, let's move on to another topic here about your exam itself. I'm curious. When you
Mhm.
got into the exam, the first question, how did that sit with you, seeing the very first question jump out at you?
Okay, the first question, it was from the initiating um, process group. And, I felt comfortable because, I went in with a calm mind. I'm going to do my best. I know the material. And the only way to get through this exam is to remain calm. And as I say, I started to apply my technique, highlighting, reading through, and being very cautious because I found when I was doing the different practice questions, the first thing that jumped out to me that sounded like it, I used to select and then I got it wrong. So then when I went back, I realized that no, Jenny, you have to read the question carefully and look for those clues.
Mm,
So I I answered my questions with confidence to the best of my ability. That is what really helped me through each question with confidence.
So you slowed down, you were calm, you went through
Yeah.
the content several times. Very good. So tell us, when you got to question 90, how many hours had you used? How many minutes?
Okay. Well, my I was prompted to review my questions at question 89,
Okay.
and I was like shy of I was into not the full 2 hours, because I had like 10 minutes, not 10 minutes. Yeah, I was like at 89, I was like about probably like short of 2 hours.
Okay, 2 hours. So you went
Yeah.
for a 10-minute break, or how long was your break?
Yes, I did. They prompted me to review my 89 questions, because it says that after when you click next, you can't go back. So I took my time. Oh, Phil, what I wanted to say too, I didn't leave out any questions. Anything I was unsure about, I still answered, and I put marked for review.
That is a good
Yes,
strategy. I want people on the call to know that. So still answer any unsure questions,
yes,
because you could end up running out of time. One
yes.
of our students ran out of time, unfortunately. And it is
Oh,
important that you answer everything. Even if you're 5 minutes left, just mark, just like crazy, just mark everything down. So still
yes.
answer any unsure questions you said. That's helpful.
Yes. So then when I got to 89, that the thing is that I didn't see a prompt that, well, you'll be approaching the 89. I just saw it,
Mhm.
the screen appear that I have the option to review my questions, and I did that. And then when I clicked next, it gave me the whole thing about when I move on, I can't go back. And then right after that, I was able to take my 10 minutes break, which I did, because what I realized into like when I got to question 80,
Hmm.
or I found that I was thinking that I was behind, because it's quite it's different when you have a clock counting down backwards 200 minutes and going back down, because
Mm.
you can't wear I couldn't wear my watch on my arm.
Oh
So
dear.
yeah, so getting accustomed to that time counting down, sometimes I couldn't, it was like, where am I at in with time? Because visually I have it in my head as one thing, but this thing counting down. So I started to panic a bit at question 80. And I said, no, Jenny, you have to slow. Just keep focus, because you don't want to answer the question wrong. So
Mm.
I had to refocus. So I would advise anyone to take the break, because after coming down to 89 and I got the break, I was able to continue the exam with a more settled mind.
Hmm. That is a really great tip that I've not heard before. Someone did try to mention it, but it wasn't as clear as now I understand you have a countdown clock, not a, a count up clock. So it's
No,
hard to make the conversion. Very similar
yeah,
to our mock exam. I never really thought of it like that. That's a
yeah,
good point.
yeah. So
Mm.
that's what I found. They didn't like us, the CPM. I wanted full control of, the time, so I couldn't wear my watch. So
Yeah, okay. So you
yeah.
got done, you went for your 10-minute break, you came back. Was the exam easier on the second half or more difficult?
I think it was the same. It got a bit wordier. I find in the beginning the sentences were not as long,
Okay.
or not as, too much context in it, carrying you here and back and forth. But I found in my second half, I really had to concentrate even more because they were wordier and the answers were longer as well.
Mm. Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's go back to our friend Giselle here. There seems to be some confusion about 7.2.3.1, and I want to take a look at that because one of the things I'm fond of doing is trying to find out where PMI might have things twisted in the Pmbok guide. It is not uncommon. Okay, so let's very quickly. Awesome, MD. I see that chat. Very good. Let's take a look at what Giselle is saying here really quick. 7.2.3.1. Thank you for sharing that. Let's try and demystify whatever's going on there. All right, 7.2.3.1. So it says cost estimates include quantitative assessments of the probable cost required to complete project work, as well as contingency amounts to account for identified risk and management reserve to cover unplanned work. That's it, but it's not part of the estimate. That is very badly written. Cost estimates can be presented in summary form or in detail. So if we're talking about a summary for everything, for like one big mass of work, right? You can see this as an overall estimate for a huge chunk of work. But when you're looking at that estimate, you got to understand that the work itself is kept separate from management reserve. This is very poorly written, I must say. So it says costs are estimated for all resources that are applied to the cost estimate. This includes, but is not limited to, direct labor, material, equipment, services, facilities, information technology, and special categories, on and on and on. Yeah. So it says, an inflation allowance, exchange rates, or a cost contingency reserve. You see that? Or a cost contingency reserve. Indirect costs, if they're included in the project estimate, can be included at the activity level. So I think you've just uncovered another very poorly written part of the Pmbok. And you know, to be quite honest, people like us who review the guide before it comes out, we should catch things like this. All right. So thank you for pointing this out because it's very poorly written. Yep. Management reserves to cover unplanned work are not part of the estimates. They are part of the budget. So that is a very poorly written section. Let me go really quickly to management reserves in the glossary. You got to call out what is poorly written. That is not good. So this is on page 710, management reserves. Watch what it says. It says, an amount of the project budget. It did not say an amount of a cost estimate. See that? That is just bad. An amount of the project budget or project schedule held outside of the performance measurement baseline. Estimates are part of the performance measurement baseline. A cost estimate is not. So you've just uncovered one of the poorly written parts of the Pmbok, and that's okay. We are meant to be improving. So thank you very much, Giselle, for bringing that up. I appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to our friends here, Johanny and Angela, who are on the call as well. Thank you very much. So Janae, I'm sure you're like, well, thank goodness I don't have to deal with that drama because I'm a PMP. I don't even have to go back, look at 7.2 or whatever it is, you know. So tell us, Janae, this PMI mock exam that I rave and rant about, did you take it at all? The PMI's PMP mock?
Yes, I did.
How many times did you take it?
I did it, I would say 1.5 times because the first time I did it, I got to number 72 and it just stuck. So then, yeah, so then I redid it. And yeah, I redid it fully for the full duration. And on that attempt, I actually got, I think in my 70s, and I think the required was the 80s. So I was like, well,
yeah, you needed to get 80 to pass it.
Yes. So
but you took it twice. Did I get an email from you after you took it? Did you tell me anything about it or not?
No, I didn't.
Because
I actually took it in my last week, week before the exam. So I was like kind of panicking, like, you know, what am I missing here?
you were very determined. That I do know. And you know, while you were not one of the loudest voices asking a lot of questions or contributing a lot, I could tell that you were in stealth mode, because I would look at reports coming in. I'll be like, oh, wow, okay, she's already there. That's good. Okay, that's good. But you really did catch me by surprise, because when I went back and I looked at the sheet and I said, okay, because I have my little post-it notes, I'm like, okay, maybe Janae has moved her exam out. Yeah, she must have moved this thing out.
No, because I had said the 19th, but I guess maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was happening so fast, you know.
Yeah, you did. And when I saw you on the call, I want to ask you, okay,
Oh,
so did you take, I had the notes. Yeah, I have,
right.
you are actually on the top of this post-it note as, yeah, the date you're taking
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so I know we have a number of people who are going to be taking it in the next number of days,
Okay.
the big run up. But I'm glad, really glad that you listened to what I had to say about taking the PMI mock exam, and then you took the Praizion mocks. How many of the Praizion mocks did you take?
Yes, I did. I think I did about three of those, you know. So
Wow.
those really, because one thing too I realized about myself, it's one thing to take like 10 questions at a time and 20. But then you realize, well, I really have to sit down 4 hours and concentrate and be at my peak to get through the exam. I found my first time doing it, I was a bit, I wasn't as settled as I should. So that is why practicing for the full duration is very important. Give yourself enough time to make sure you can go through the duration, because I found myself a bit, fidgety taking the mock exams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Praizion mocks, I mean, I don't want to ask you to go back down memory lane, but was there one of the mocks that jumped out at you as being the most difficult?
Yes, that was I can't even the there were I can't remember the exact name.
Was it the marathon mock or was it the
Yes,
2020 mock?
the marathon. I did the marathon. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, which of those was more like the exam to you? There's a marathon mock, there's the challenge mock, there's the intermediate mock, there's the mini mock,
I
there's,
I would say the intermediate for me.
ah, that was written by a group of your peers who had done the exam. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard quite a lot about that as well.
Yes.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Um, we got a question from Johanny, and Johanny is asking when the exam changes. Johanny says, I know January 2nd, but is that version changing based on new content outline, but not based on that? So let me talk about this for a quick second, Janae. I know you probably
Sure.
couldn't care less. You're like, thank goodness I'm done with that stuff. Well,
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 still have a few colleagues that, know, they're taking it in next year. So I'm very interested to hear, yes, what.
ah, so first of all, tell your colleagues to join they need to go to projectmanagementmasterclass.com and sign up for the
Yeah.
training if they want to. Projectmanagementmasterclass.com.
Okay.
And they can join the same kind of training you did. They can get access to the same kind of content you did, and then some. Because Janae, it is real drastically changing to people, process, business. So I'll say to our YouTube friends, those of you that want to be part of this course, you want to go on down there. The smart people who have seen the offers, they've already jumped on it, because those offers, they're going away. Trust me, when the year comes, 2021
Mhm.
comes, is going to go up a notch. So you want to secure that seat. But the exam right now, the last day for the current PMP exam based on initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling and closing is on the 31st of December 2020. Let's get that straight, okay? This is the current exam. But the new exam is going to begin is on the 2nd of January 2021. And this course on Project Management Masterclass, it begins on the 9th of January 2021. And this exam, the current exam, is based on the 6th edition and also the new exam based on largely, let me cut PMI some slack, because I always say the exam is not just based on the Pmbok guide. That's true. It's a wide body of information. And that's why we have the Project Management Essentials book that covers a lot of stuff that is outside of the Pmbok guide. So it's based largely on the Pmbok guide 6th edition. But the exam breakdown is different. The exam breakdown for the new exam is the people, the process, and the business. So those colleagues of yours, Janae, that are taking the new exam, they just need to be aware that it has a lot of similar content, but there's some tiny little changes in focus. They also need to be aware, as far as the focus goes for the new exam, they're going to need to focus equally on predictive as well as hybrid and agile. So it's 50% predictive and 50% agile and hybrid.
But so I have a but from but how can then this structure be in place when the Pmbok but it's the agile in the 6th edition? I know they had a lot of considerations for agile when we were reading the material, but then how do you really bridge the gap with just the 6th edition?
Very good question, Janae. Let's also mention, don't let's forget our accompanying book, and I'm glad you brought that up. Don't
Right.
forget the Agile Practice Guide as
Oh,
well.
yes. Okay.
That as well. Because, you know, when they give it to you electronically, they give you both of them together.
Yeah.
And this might have been a secret little plan for a while, but now it's come to light that Agile is going to be very prominent. I mean, if you look at 50% being predictive and the other 50% being agile and hybrid, that tells anyone that has the Agile Practice Guide to go dust it up and take a close look at it, because they're definitely going to get more agile questions. In fact, we heard from a number of people that they had quite a number of agile questions. And it didn't just start in this last month. It has been for a while. So Johanny, to answer that question, and based on the question that Janae just asked, your last day for the current exam is going to be on the 31st of December. And your first day for the new exam is going to be on the 2nd of January, 2021. Does that answer your question, Johanny? I hope that answers your question. Let me know if not. Janae, do you have any other questions about this new exam? Because you do know that the percentage for people is 42%. And then the percentage for process is 50%. And then the percentage for business is 8%. It's a little bit of a different spin, but there's some history to this with us. We have already trained a full-blown course as far back as January, February 2020. So we already have the content and material for this new exam. And what we can tell you based on our teaching this is that the 6th edition content that is in the current exam is still going to be relevant in the new exam. However, we are going to be accentuating a lot more agile. We're also going to be accentuating a topic that many people hadn't focused on before, which is business. Business is a whole 8%. So the idea of the application of business thinking to your project and how that intersects with what is happening in the company as a whole, that is also going to be tested. And there are a lot of new things there. But let's go back to your exam discussion, because this is kind of, outside of your exam discussion, but I'm glad that it helped someone. So we got a question from one of our friends that asks, was the PMI mock exam similar to your real exam? What would you say?
I would say probably like honestly like roughly 40%. Because I find the PMI mock, some of the the wording was quite different to what I experienced on the actual exam. It helped me, yes, in terms of, you know, more practice sometimes is better. But I found even when I was going through their answers, the reasoning behind the answers, I wasn't really clear as to why why did they choose that option. So then it got me thinking even more as to, you know, what how are they thinking,
Hmm.
you know, when they write the questions and what would be the best
Hmm.
answer. But
Hmm.
what I would say, you know, compare, as I say, for my exam, it was really you have to sit in the project manager's shoes. Like, I am the project manager. What what it is that I'm supposed to do to in this particular situation was the best thing, because sometimes you can have all the answers are relevant,
Hmm.
but in that moment, which one is the best one?
Yeah, you definitely cracked this code, Janae. And what I'm really seeking to get from you to help our friends on the call,
Mhm.
how did you crack the code to be confident in selecting what should the project manager do first, what should the project manager do next? If you're going to give us three major things that contributed to you being able to select the right answers on your exam, what would those things be?
Okay. Number one is, you know, reading the question and understanding where you're at in the process. And based on that, you have to understand the inputs, the tools, and the techniques and the outputs. So having understood, well, yes, I'm initiating, then there are certain things that you do in the in initiating, and that helped me to get closer to the correct answer. And
Mhm.
that final question, you have to, I mean, right, the final sentence in the questions, you have to read very carefully, because sometimes is what should you do, what should you have done prior to achieving the better result. So you need to really read that question well, and try not to memorize all of the Pmbok guide. You have to
Mhm.
understand. Understanding the material is key, because I can't say that I know everything in the Pmbok guide. I
Mhm.
wasn't there. But what I really tried my best to do is to understand. If I am in, you know, the initiating, and they say high level requirements or high level risks,
Mm.
you know, before I would have gone down to risk management and select something from in there specifically, but really and truly the question was asking me about the project charter. So
Got
so you really have to get those little you know, clues
Mm.
about exactly where you are in the process. So
You got to know where you are in the process. I want to put some of these notes that I was making while you were talking here for our
sure.
friends. There's a lot of stuff that you just unpacked, and I would like to really hone in on some of them. Understand
Hmm.
where you are in the process. Know your ITTOs. So ITTOs, you got to understand those things because,
Understand them,
yeah,
yes.
they're going to come back to to help you on the exam, not to haunt you, but to help you when you
To
know
help. Yeah.
them. Okay, know where you are in the process group. That's a very important one in the process group. Yeah. read the final question, understand, try not to memorize. So you were able to execute a lot of this great stuff. And I think a lot of it stems from you habitually practicing. So you took what? I mean, if we count the number of times you took each mock exam, is it fair to say you had at least 5 mock exams under your belt?
Yes, I would say yes. I took yes, I took the mock exams, and the first time I didn't pass, and every time I didn't pass, I used to go back and read all of the options, the incorrect ones and the correct
Mhm.
ones, to really get the full picture of, as I say again, where am I in the process? Why not to use just focus groups instead of facilitation? I mean, something as simple as that. What was the real meaning of all of these things? So automatic, then it came more, natural.
Mm.
You know, I wouldn't use this because I'm speaking to this audience, or I'm trying to address this stakeholder. So obviously I can't be too general in how, why would I want to send out a meeting when the stakeholder is already on the meetings? I have to
Yeah.
then personalize it, tailor it to
Mm.
suit the, what the stakeholder is experiencing. So then I try to make it, real, more real,
Mm.
in
Mhm.
thinking through it. Because as I say, you can't just knowing the Pmbok guide isn't gonna help you to really crack these situations that come on the exam. You have to
Mm.
think it through.
Hmm. And it comes from your practice. It's sounding like a lot of the practice you went through, going through the process of taking these tests over and over again. That is really what helps you develop the right muscle, the reflex.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
as you would always say to us, don't mind that you get it wrong. If you get things wrong,
Mm.
understand why, and it is all part of the learning. So I took
Mhm.
that really to heart.
Wow.
Even if a day every day, even if it's 5 questions, 10 questions, the little quizzes, those things, the teasers and things that are on the LMS, I would really answer them and not try to memorize, to really walk through in my mind, what is it the question is asking me? Why am I here?
Mm.
To
Mhm.
understand.
Absolutely. Janae, I'm definitely gonna be asking you to come back. In fact, let me just ask you nicely now. On Wednesday, we want to see you in the training because we still have friends of
Okay.
ours who are. Please come on Wednesday and come and give some hope to some more of our friends. But on the call right now, I want to give a shout out to some of our friends who joined. In addition, we have Marie and we have MD, and I'm really glad that they were able to join and hear. So Marie, MD, if you've got questions for Janae, you need to be asking those questions now. But let's go on to another question that came in from our friends on YouTube. And this question is from Angela. It's a very good question. And it's a question that I have mused over this question myself. And the question is, how generous is PMI? The answer is, I don't think they're going to give you a new mock exam, Angela.
No.
I think even Oliver Twist, he would know when he's reached his limit when it comes to the PMI. And honestly, I don't think they're going to give you a new mock exam. And here's why. When I take a look at the PMI mock exam, trust me, I'm not a fan of it because I love every question. You heard what Janae said. Very pathetic explanation. Great question for many of them, but for a lot of them, very poorly explained. I mean, I could have helped them explain some of those questions better, as I have been doing on this channel. So, Angela, I don't want to hold my breath when it comes to PMI as far as them giving you a new mock exam. And let me tell you why I don't think they're going to give you a new mock exam. When you take a look at the current PMI mock, first of all, you call customer support and they say, oh, no, it's only available to people in a particular geographic location. And then other people are finding the mock exam, taking it, and you're like, PMI, do you even know what you're doing? Why are you telling me that this mock exam is only available to people in a certain geographic location and everybody else in another location are taking it? So it tells me, first of all, they're not really being forthcoming and straightforward, one. Two, talking about the content of the exam. It is very good content because, as I often say, it's from the horse's mouth. There is absolutely no reason for them to give you another mock exam. The only thing that they need to tweak a little bit, minor in my mind, would be to add a few more agile questions and to add a few more business questions. Everything as far as people, process, business is very, very well covered. Very well covered. So I don't know who wrote the questions for them in this regard, but I can tell you whoever did, they drank that Kool-Aid that question writers from PMI drink. These folks, whoever wrote those questions, drank them because it's very annoying. That's how the exam is. It's an annoying exam. So there's no need for you to go looking for another PMI mock exam. The only thing you need to augment, and Praizion is going to be doing that for you if you're taking the new exam, is we're going to augment it with business. We're going to augment it with agile questions. In fact, some of our students may have already seen some of those agile questions that we'll begin introducing to the pipeline. So I would honestly, I would not look a gift horse in the mouth. I wouldn't say, oh, PMI mock, now that we're moving to the new era, forget that one. No. All those questions are still relevant. Okay, so I'm really glad you asked the question because I really want to hammer it home. The way the questions are explained is pathetic in many of them. I just shake my head, but the questions in and of themselves are awesome archetypes of what you will see on the actual exam. On the actual exam, I think they may even, maybe make it not as all over the place with the final answer. I think to choose the answer on the real exam, it may not be as hard. I think there's something about that mock exam that is just off from the real one, but nonetheless, it's a very good prototype, if you will. Take it from me. PMI haven't paid me to say this, but that mock exam is probably one of the best gifts to test takers because before they came out with this mock exam, Janae, I don't know if you knew, they only had 3 sample questions. If you said, oh, what's the exam like? Yeah, there were only 3 pathetic sample questions, lackluster questions. So when they came out with this mock exam, I could not believe the good fortune of people taking the real thing. I know a lot of people have bad things to say about it. And again, trust me, I am the one person who will tell you the truth about what I feel about the PMI. But on this occasion, I think they really did a lot of people good because they're so situational, those mock questions.
Right.
But yeah, can I get off my soapbox, Angela? Okay, good. Okay, so let's see. Johanny says, I agree. PMI mock questions are brutal. Phil could have helped them design more sensible ones. With Adobe being retired in 2020, how will we be able to access the LMS videos? Very good question. So Angela, Adobe, the videos on the LMS, they're not Adobe. Those are MP4s. But the quizzes, it's the quizzes that are Adobe. And we are making efforts to update a lot of those mocks. Before the end of January, we will have a new platform for a lot of our questions. In fact, right now, we already have a new platform for our knowledge area questions, and we'll be introducing that next year on the other platforms. That platform that you're on, it'll probably go away. The platform that Genee and other folks are on will probably stay. So we got different platforms. Okay. Angela just literally went through that issue. Just open up LMS on Google Chrome. I did about an hour ago. Chrome still supports Praizion's LMS. Yes, that's very correct. Okay, so Janae, I know you've got a weekend where you probably just want it free for once. And I mean, your mom must be asking, that trainer of yours, is he still asking you to come learn?
No.
Did she ask you that?
No, but honestly, Phil, I made when I first started the program, I made a promise to myself that Even though I know I was scheduled to take the exam early, I would finish the full program. I wouldn't
Wow.
stop because I pass or fail. Whatever. My thing was to finish it to the end.
Wow. Wow. That is awesome, Janae.
Yeah.
And in 2021, all of our PMP alumni, people who have gotten PMP certified, we're starting a new curriculum. Of course, not PMP. This is about leadership, communications, and management. And that will be announced again towards the end of this year, probably sometime next week. We're going to be learning a
Okay.
lot of content from my mentor, John C. Maxwell, a lot of his content, how to be a real success, and talking about making your dreams a reality, talking about leadership, and many other things. So if you still want to study, there's going to be ample
Yeah,
opportunity,
because
So
that was my next question to you is like, because honestly, Phil, what I would share is that even though I was successful on the exam and I got it the next day, I was like, where do I go from here? Like, as I say, it just left me in the zone of still wanting to continue.
lovely,
Yes.
lovely. So Janae, the next step for anyone in PMP universe who has gotten certified, you need to keep learning. It's not enough. Now I know Roy did a brilliant job in breaking down agile. We need to take it to the next level, Janae. We need to make
Right.
it official. So
Yes.
we need to get the certified Scrum Master, right?
Yes.
And that will be a good next step. And then when you've done that, we will assess the step after that. But I can tell you, we need to get a lot more agile and Scrum
Right.
orientation. Roy and I are doing a series of classes next year. We're doing the project management masterclass for people who want to become PMPs. But for those who are already PMPs, we're having classes on how to facilitate projects, with a hybridized mindset, not just predictive, not just agile, but we have a number of fun things coming down the pike in 2021.
Right. So
Uh,
how do I stay connected, like to know when, these things are available?
so Janae, you need to be on our Facebook group. Are you on that Facebook group where all of
No.
our Facebook, are you on it?
No, I'm not currently, so I would have
Let me
jump.
send you the link right now. This Facebook
Okay.
group is exclusive to those who have been through the program. It's not for everyone.
Oh, okay.
But for everyone on the Zoom, yeah, these folks should be in the Facebook group. I know some people are not into social media, but I often tell them, even if it's just for the sake of being in the group, you don't have to post the food you ate or what your family did. Just join the group and benefit from the connection, because I know many people are social media averse because of the foolishness that they see on social media. No, just join the group and
Right.
part of
Okay.
it. Yeah, but please join the group and stay in touch, because you could benefit a whole lot. We're going to have a number of masterminding sessions where you're going to be able to mastermind with people of like minds who have been through the process just like you and who want to go to the next level. So by all means join. But please come on Wednesday, because we need to
Yes,
continue the
I
narrative.
will.
We need to continue helping those who are looking to get certified. Okay.
Right. So, Phil, just one more thing I would like to comment on someone who had made a comment on the PMA mock.
Ah,
Yes, I know that. Yes, it is good that PMA put that out there for the students. But what I found for me is that you have to know the material first. You have to understand, because without understanding, it would be like we're just selecting A, B, C, D. So
mm,
although yes, it is great to have all the tests, the tests out there, but you really have to understand, get that material understood first, or a certain point, and then focus on taking these different exams, the
mm,
mocks. I found out when my approach was that I wasn't too familiar with the content and was taking the exams, mock exams, and the different things. I wasn't as confident, I wasn't as successful as, I should have been. And it was due to those gaps. You have
mm.
to know the material.
You bring up a wonderful point, and I'm really grateful you brought that up, because it's been on my mind for a while. a lot of people think it's just about pounding on mock exams and quizzes, and they're just going to magically one day be able to face the real thing. That's not enough.
No.
What
Right.
Janae is saying is solid. I mean, you gotta know the content. Look, if you open up an ITTO, if I throw a random ITTO at you, you cannot explain whether it's a tool, technique, input or output. You cannot rationalize how it's used pragmatically. That's already a sign that when PMI is giving you stuff in a mock exam, it's just going to be like jazz. It's just going to be like random babble. But the clearer you are on the content, the more you can zoom in. Like when Giselle asked that question about management reserves, because I know my Pmbok guide, I knew that that stuff in the Pmbok guide was in and of itself wrong. You see, it takes being a student of the guide to know when what you're reading is wrong. And it takes being a student of the guide and the content to be able to accurately select the right answer. And I see a lot of people struggling because they have not studied the content. You gotta study the content. You see, Janae said 3 hours a day on the typical day, maybe even more. Right,
Yeah.
Janae?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you got to be a student of the content. Is there anything else you would like to share before we disconnect from our friends on YouTube?
Yes, I would say yes. Structure is very important, and this program with Praizion really helped me to structure the time that I had available to really study. So the structure that this program have provided is very, very important. Those um something that struck out to me, even coming down to the last 2 weeks, when you always encourage the students to read. You told us to read the benefits and the
Mm,
objectives out of whatever area we were in. If we are studying communications or stakeholder, I found to understanding what does this process involve. Those few lines to me made the world of difference. So you really have to get the structure from the program, and really listen to all the instructors, what the instructors are telling us to do, and when you follow it, you would be successful.
lovely, Janae. You got no idea how this has made my day, because I had no idea whatsoever that on the 19th you had executed the plan and you'd
Yes,
delivered the deliverable. So thank you very much. We got one more question for you from MD. MD says,
sure.
how many questions from earned value management or math related questions did you have, Janae?
But honestly, okay, on my exam, I had from earned value, I had about 6 questions. And I didn't have to, yes, I think I had to work out about two of them, but it wasn't the complicated ones going into like those EACs or anything like that.
Mm,
So exactly what we did, the first part of the formula mania about the understanding when I get the SPA result. Is it over one? What does that mean? If it is it under one?
hmm.
So I got questions to ask me about what does that mean in terms of the earned value, and I was really able to really answer those very well from that formula mania. And in terms of, I know the network diagrams, I had one of those, the critical path, and that session helped me very well in terms of putting it together and getting that result. So my exam was very wordy. I had a few the earned value and one network diagram and one question on leads and lights. You have to understand that those as well.
Mm,
Yes.
very helpful. Thank you
So
very much for that.
right. So Phil, just one more thing too. My questions didn't come like how you have it displayed. It came in a table where I
Mm,
had to from the table then put it in this format. that we're seeing right now.
Gotcha. So not like this, but a more like a table of
Like,
durations and
yeah, yeah,
relationships and things like that.
yes, yes.
Ah.
So that was
So
another format.
so let's put up another illustration. So maybe something more like this, where you got this table and what is a critical path?
Right. Yes.
Something more like this. Gotcha. So
Yes.
you
Yes.
you should be ready to take this and convert it into this.
Yes. Very quickly.
Oh dear. Well, I am so delighted that you're done, Janae. You got no idea how happy this has made me. Both you and
Yeah.
Mutaz, you've made my day. Thank you very much. You are going to get your PDUs for this. We're coming back to teach, coach, mentor us, and help us. And then please come again on Wednesday
On
so that,
Wednesday.
yeah, so that your other colleagues who are not here can benefit from it. But for now, we're going to say goodbye to our friends on
Oh,
YouTube. Don't go away, Janae, because we're just going to disconnect from our friends on YouTube for now.
sure.
But we're gonna come back to talk to our friends MD and Marie. All right. So thank you all very much, those of you watching on YouTube. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. I'm going to circle back in maybe a couple of hours or so and take a look and answer any questions that you might have had for our PMP gurus. But we wish you all the very best. Remember, we do this for you so that you can get the confidence to do what Janae and our friend Mutaz have done. All the very best. And you'll see a number of videos being put up before the year runs out to help motivate you, inspire you to get certified. Take care and bye for now.